Krishna Kirtana
So let's talk just for a second about the Dasavatar Stotram. And may I have a first canto, please? In the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, third chapter. Does anybody know what the third chapter is? What it's about? Yeah. And in this section, it's listing, thank you, the various avatars as they appear, and Sudha Goswami mentions that it's like waves that are unlimited. Similarly, the incarnations are unlimited as well. And he says in this chapter that by remembering these incarnations, one becomes freed from the miseries of life and becomes transcendental. And here it is in number 29. Whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearances of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening gets relief from all the miseries of life. And Prabhupada comments, in the Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead has declared that anyone who knows the principles of the transcendental birth and activities of the Lord will go back to Godhead after being relieved from this material tabernacle. Look up tabernacle. So simply knowing factually the mysterious ways of the Lord's incarnation in this material world can liberate one from material bondage. Simply knowing what? The mysterious way of the Lord's incarnation. Therefore, the birth and activities of the Lord, as manifested by him for the welfare of the people in general, are not ordinary. So now, somebody please, from your memory, tell me a verse from the 7th canto, 9th chapter, in which Prahlad Maharaj, in his prayers to Lord Nrsingadev, as you well know, that's the 9th chapter, says that the Lord's incarnations are for the welfare of the world. Don't look at your phones, just tell me the verse. Uh-oh. We only have a few days till Nrsinga Chaturdasi. Okay, look at your phones and then find it. You already found it? Go ahead.
I forgot the first line, but the second is Brahma Dayo Vayam Ivesha Nachot Vichanta Kshemaya Bhutaya Hutatma Sukhaya Chasya Vikriditam Bhagavato Ruchiravatare. Forgot how it's.
Is it? Huh?
Tadya Shamanyu Masras Chahatas Adya. No.
Sarve hyami vidikaras
Yeah, Sarve Hyami Vidikaras Tava Sattvadamno Brahma Dayo Vayamiveshana Chodvijanta Kshemaya Bhutaya Utatma Sukhaya Chasya Vikriditam Bhagavato Ruchiravatare. It says the same thing that Lord Nrsingadeva Krishna appears for the
let's tell her the number and she'll put it up. It's by memory, remember it. It's after what? Say the number. Take a guess. Guess.
11?
Sarve hyami vidikarastava satvadam no.
12. 7, 9, 12.
Okay. We're putting 12 as our bet. Double down. Getting close. Keep going. Next to. There you go, 13. Now everyone knows, 7, 9, 13. Tell us the translation again. There you go. That ought to help.
O my Lord, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma are sincere servants of your Lordship who are situated in a transcendental position. Therefore, they are not like us, Prahlad and his father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Your appearance in this fearsome form is your pastime for your own pleasure. Such an incarnation is always meant for the protection and improvement of the universe.
And then go back to the word for word, please. And tell us the part that is parallel to, therefore, the birth and activities of the Lord as manifested by him for the welfare of the people in general.
Vikriditam Bhagavato Ruchiravatare. Mataji, can you go down a little bit? Manifested Bhagavata of your Lordship, Ruchira, very pleasing, Avtare, by your incarnations. And also up where it is said, little more, all the way up. Being always situated in the transcendental world, Brahmadaya, the demigods headed by Lord.
Just go to the part, Shemaya Bhutaya.
Kshemaya for the protection, Bhutaya for the increase.
Yeah, so it says there that these pastimes of the Lord are for the protection and improvement of everybody in the universe. So Prabhupada continues, and he says, they are mysterious, and only by those who carefully try to go deep into the matter by spiritual devotion is the mystery discovered. So question is, who can discover the mystery? According to the last sentence. Who can discover the mystery of the Lord's appearance? Okay, I'll read the sentence again and then you tell me. They are mysterious. What are mysterious? Correct. And only by those who carefully try to go deep into the matter of spiritual devotion is the mystery discovered. Who can find the mystery? Only those who go deep? Thus one gets liberation from material bondage. It is advised, therefore, that one who simply recites this chapter of Bhagavatam, describing the appearance of the Lord in different incarnations, in sincerity and devotion can have insight into the birth and activities of the Lord. The very word vimukti, or liberation, indicates that the Lord's birth and activities are all transcendental. Otherwise, simply by reciting them, one could not attain liberation. They are therefore mysterious, and those who do not follow the prescribed regulations of devotional service are not entitled to enter into the mysteries of his birth and activities. Now go to the Shad Goswami Ashtakam. And who will make a comment about the Shad Goswami Ashtakam? Who knows what it's about? Or any concept that's within the Shad Goswami Ashtakam? Name one aspect that you know.
This bhajan is about the 6 Goswamis, and one aspect I was thinking about was Sankhya Purvaka, or the careful counting of the practices of the devotional service.
And what were you thinking about it?
It's so nice that we count ourselves every day, and if we didn't, then our minds would go everywhere.
And the Goswamis did it, right?
Yes, they were carefully counting and noting down.
What kind of things did they count?
The number of names of Harinam they were saying.
Anything else?
Number of obeisances.
Do you all count the number of obeisances you make every day? You want to try it someday? See if you can do more? Yes. Okay. Anything else that's countable?
Countable?
Yeah, what else could they count? What else did they count? What else could you count?
We can count the Gana means like how many verses we are chanting, like 34, 44, 45, the gate
That's
the 34,
countable.
Gate the 35.
Anything else you can count? Yeah?
Hare Krishna. You can count number of devotees you meet during the day.
Number of devotees you meet? Yeah? Yeah?
Number of books you distribute.
A number of books. There's a lot of things countable. Point is, this is one of the ways that the Goswamis showed by example how to do devotional service in this world, is keep account. Don't think, well, I'm just generally doing devotional service, but be very specific about counting how much you're doing and measure it. What gets measured gets. That's right. And if you don't know how much you're doing, then anything will do. As you go up, down, sideways, and if you count it, then you can know whether you're increasing or not, because the world's always shifting and the mind's always shifting as well. So today we chanted the Dasavatar Stotram. That's sort of a abbreviated way of saying this whole chapter, chapter 3, because whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearance of the Lord with devotion in the morning and the evening gets relief from all the miseries of life. And we also thought of the 6 Goswamis, and we remembered how they counted everything, and we're following in their footsteps. And now let's look at the Bhagavad Gita. Does everybody know chapter 8 now? Completely all the way through, with your eyes closed, but forwards and backwards? At least forwards? Is everyone looking at it sometimes?
Yes.
Every day?
Yes.
Sankhya Purvaka. Could we see the Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 then? We'll do the translations. Arjuna Vacha. Kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adibhutam chikim proktam hridayavam kim uchate. Translations, please. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Explain this to me. So what 5 questions did he ask? Blank the screen. Make it black. What are the 5 questions? No, and all at once somebody take the mic and try to challenge themselves. Take the mic. Quick.
First is what is Brahman, what is self, what is the activity or karma, and what is the material manifestation, what are the demigods, and what are the demigods?
That was 5, right? Who else can say? Go ahead, Madhuri Saki.
What is Brahman? What is the self? What are the action, fruitive activities? And then...
Say the verse.
Kim tad brahma kim adhyatma kim karma purushottama adi bhuva cha kim proktam adi daiva kim uchyate.
There, you got all 5. Go ahead. Kim tad.
What is Brahman? What is the self? What is
Kim tad brahma kim adhyatma kim karma.
the results of our fruitive activities?
Adibhutam.
Chakim.
Adibhutam's 1. And then Adidaivam.
What are material manifestations and what are the demigods?
Okay. Who else wants to try? Prabhu, go ahead. 5 questions. Arjuna asked 5 questions right in a row. That's a lot. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there are 5 questions. One is Kim Tat Brahman, Adhyatma, Kim Karma. Karma is the activities. Karma Purushottama, Adi Bhutam. And then last one is Adi Daivam, actually.
You didn't say what Adibhutam is.
The material manifestation.
Okay. Who knows the 5? Do you know?
So it was what I forgot the first one.
Kim Tat Brahma.
What is Brahman? Then what is self? Then what are fruitive activities? Then what is material manifestation? And then what are demigods?
And what's the answer? Let's look. What good questions. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? What are the demigods? He wants to know more now. Who is the Lord of sacrifice? And how does he live in the body, O Madhusudana? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Black the screen. What are the other 2 questions he asked? Actually, there's 3. Go ahead.
How does he live in the body? And,
Who?
The Supreme
Yes.
Lord of the sacrifice, sir.
Yeah.
And how can one remember him at the time of the death?
Is that it?
One more.
How can one remember him at time of death? How does he live in the body? Show it again. Who is the Lord of sacrifice? Okay, read number 2 again together. Who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live in the body, O Madhusudana? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Let's do 3 and 4. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities. How many questions has he answered so far? Okay, keep going. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature which is constantly changing is called adibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called Adidaiva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as a super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adiyagya, the Lord of Sacrifice. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there's no doubt. Did it answer all the questions? Yes. Did Krishna answer all the questions? Okay, so someone tell us what all the questions are and what all the answers are. No, wait, that sounds somebody new. Gita Priya. Black the screen.
The questions are, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are the fruitive actions? What is the material manifestation? And who are the demigods? The other question is, who is the Lord of Sacrifice? And how does he live? And
in the body, yeah.
Oh yeah, how do you remember him at the time of death?
Very good. You got all of them. Okay, now the answers for 165. Is 160 or 65? 1600 on your... This is what they should have on the SAT. Okay, go ahead. Answer. What are the answers?
I think the material manifestation answer was that it's always changing. And and the living entity is the Brahman, and it's indestructible, I think. And then...
it's got a certain nature, too.
Eternal, transcendental nature. And then...
It's called Adhyatma, the self.
And then... It's Adi Bhuta. I think Adi Bhuta is a material manifestation.
Yeah.
And then...
which is constantly changing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And... Actions material. Actions pertaining to it. That's karma. So actions pertaining to the material development is karma. And then... I forgot the question. The universal form of the Supreme Lord is the demigods, and then...
That includes the demigods. The universal form of the Lord includes the demigods, then,
yes.
Okay.
And then, to remember... And then, yeah, he's like, Krishna's the super soul. And then, I think, to remember... Oh yeah, whoever remembers me at the time of death will come back to me. And then, Lord of Sacrifice was also... Yeah, Adiyagya. Adiyagya is the Lord of Sacrifice.
Okay, let's take it from the top. Thank you. Let's take it from the beginning. We'll read it again. The only way to learn, you got to stretch yourself and try to make a mistake. Go to the beginning. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me. Who is the Lord of Sacrifice, and how does he live in the body, O Madhusudan? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature which is constantly changing is called Adibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called Adidaiva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as a super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adiyagya, the Lord of Sacrifice. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Which question has not been completely answered so far? Huh? Last one means what? How can those remember at the time of death? And what is where's that answered in this chapter? A lot of places, right? Isn't it? How can one remember you at the time of death? Who can say? Looking for new devotees. Who can say we're Govinda? Where does in the 8th chapter name some places where Krishna says how one can remember him at the time of death. Madhuri Saki's fired up now. Hands ready to go up. Govinda, you want to say? You know this chapter? What's one of the iconic, important verses, and Prabhupada even gives a practical advice in the purport? Karvinda's got it in mind. Who else has it? It's a therefore verse. I'll give you that hint. Who hasn't gone yet? Who wants to try to go down in flames? Huh? Who's ready? Okay, on the bike. Can't hold back anymore. Here, give her the mic. You have to give extra commentary now.
Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmarayutya cha mayarpita mano buddhir mame vaishyasya samshaya. Therefore, Krishna is telling Arjuna to remember him while he's fighting on the battlefield, and in this way, by remembering him, he'll keep him in his consciousness and thus go back to him, which answers that previous question. So this is a nice reminder for all of us for how we can remember Krishna through our daily activities.
And what's Prabhupada's practical advice in the Bhagavad Gita? Can you say more about it?
I don't know what he mentions.
Let's look at
in
the
purport.
purport. You kind of said it in code form, but let's look at his purport. It's very practical. Is it 7? Yeah, 7. 7 is tasmat, means therefore. Sarveshu kaleshu. I'll say the words before you put it up and you tell me when. Tasmat, sarveshu, kaleshu, mam, anusmara, evacha. Certainly. Mayar pita, mano buddhir, mam, evaishyasya, samshayaha. Without any doubt. Is very certain about this. Okay, let's see it now. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. She wants us just to remember Krishna like this. That's fine too. We understand what you're doing. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mayar pita mano buddhir. Yeah, it's nice just to look at Krishna. Tasmat, therefore, sarveshu, at all, kaleshu, times, mam, me, anusmara, go on remembering, yudhya, fight, cha, also, mayi, unto me, arpita, surrendering, mana, mind, buddhi, intellect, mam, unto me, eva, surely, eshyasi, you will attain a samshaya, beyond a doubt. Translation. Together. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me. Purport.
This instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagements. One can continue them and at the same time think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. This will free one from material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in Krishna. By chanting Krishna's names, one will be transferred to the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, without a doubt.
So, what's the answer in 2 words? Correct. Okay, that's 1600 for your SAT. Let's have a little Bhagavatam class. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shad Goswami Ashtakam ki jai, Dasavatar Stotram ki jai, Gaur Premanande Haribo. Arjuna Vacha, Kim Tat Brahma Kim Adhyatmam, Kim karma purushottama adibhutam shakim proktam adidaivam kimuchate adiagyakatam kotra dehesmin madhusudana prayana kali chakatam keyosi niyatatmavi Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Sabhavam Dhyatmamuchyate Bhutabhavod Bhavakaro Sargo Karma Samjita Adibhuta Sharo Purushashchadidaivatam Adiyagya Kamevatra Dehe Deha Vratambara Antakale Chamameva Smaran Mukva Kalevaram Yaprayati Samatbhavam Yati Nasyatra Shamshayaha Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam Tajatyante Kalevaram Tam Tam Evaite Kaunteya Sadatad Bhava Bhavitaha Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mamanusmara Yujatar Mayarpita Manobudhir Mami Vaishyasya Samshayaha. Just make sure those are straight. Shoes should be straight and these should be straight too. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jashodanandana Vrajajana Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Jamuna Tiravamachari Jamuna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shastasar Prabhu, please bring me the Bhagavatam 10th canto, that the last chapter of which is 69. Narayanam namaskritya naranchaiva narottamam devim sarasatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktabinda Nitai Namineche Namirhate Sharamuyena Dite Chere Nitai Namineche Namirhate Sharamuyena Dite Chere. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, it's chapter 66, Paundraka was also called the false Vasudeva, challenges Krishna. Paundraka was a devotee of Lord Shiva, and he got a benediction from Lord Shiva that he could have the verisimilitude of being Vasudeva. Verisimilitude. Verisimilitude means what? He'd have the symbols of Vasudeva, and he surrounded himself with devotees. We see this in the world that people develop a persona and then surround themselves with devotees who encourage them. And it seems to be a living entity type of proclivity, because we find it with the bees. They live for the queen. And ants and termites, a kick I've been on for the last few weeks, they also have a sense of following a leader. If the termite queen, what a title to have as a living entity. You're the termite queen. Everyone follows you. And they all live and work and die for the queen. Even in modern ages, although the system of monarchy has diminished by at least 95%. Now there are parliamentary proceedings in order to govern most countries. Still in Thailand, there's a sense of the king being the center of society. They celebrate his birthday in a really big way. And in the UK, there's still a sense of nostalgia for the monarchy. And even though it's a parliamentary system there, still the king and queen and princes and so forth are front and center in the news all the time. People thinking about them, worrying about them, and so forth. What does verisimilitude mean? Your word for the day.
Verisimilitude is the appearance of truth or reality, and it comes from the Latin word verisimilitudo, which means likeness to truth, from veri, which is true, and similis, which is like, resembling, of the same kind.
Yeah, it's not the truth, but it looks like it. So, Paundraka had a way of adorning himself with the same symbols as Vasudeva, and then he thought himself to be Vasudeva, and he was especially bolstered in that idea by his associates, who gathered around him and said, yeah, you are. You actually are Vasudeva. And the living entity in the material world is open to suggestion, and when an entity gets surrounded by supporters who say, you're the queen, you're the king, you're Vasudeva, then a person can feel like that. Yeah, I am the center of everything. And this is one of the anomalies in the thinking of a conditioned soul, is to believe that I'm the center of everything. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya advises us that we should divest ourselves of that idea. When Prabhupada came to America, he wrote poetry on the Jaladuta. He signed it, "Your most unfortunate, insignificant beggar." Keeping himself in this mentality that Lord Chaitanya recommends, to be very, very humble. Don't think oneself to be the center. It happens on all levels in the material world. It's something that Shukadeva Goswami mentions, that one may surround himself with family members, and all the family members may say, "Oh, you're our God." And there's a sense within the family unit that one is the center of the universe. I remember as a kid thinking, oh, my family's the best. I can even remember a time we were driving in the car and I was saying, oh, my family's, there must be the best in the whole universe, I didn't have a conception of the universe, but just, they must be the best family, we're so special. And later on I saw how, as Prabhupada noted in one of his poems in Vrindavan, he said, all my family members now are a list of names. They've all gone here, there, and everywhere. And Shukadeva Goswami warns also that one may think that I'm protected by my well-wishers, but he says that nobody can actually protect us in this world except for Krishna. It's something that Prahlad Maharaj brings up in his prayers in chapter 9 of the 7th canto, when he says, Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nishingha nartasya chaganamudandati majatono taptasya tat pratibidiri aihanjasheshas tavad bibo tanubitam tvadupekshitanam. This, he says that the parents, they protect the child, and that's their duty to do so, but it's not always successful. You do the best you can, right? And he said a doctor gives the best medicine possible, but it doesn't always work. And someone may send out a rescue crew, the Coast Guard, to save somebody whose boat is capsized. But even if you have the strongest of and most highly trained Coast Guard members, they may not be able to save the person. In fact, they may drown. It happened recently where some Navy SEALs drowned because one fell off and the other one jumped in to save him. And these people are really trained rigorously to survive within water. And both of them drowned. And we're sorry to hear that. And what a waste of human life. So, I mean, not a waste, they were doing their duty, but we feel bad anyway. So, Prahlad Maharaj says that only the influence of the Lord can protect us. And in the Gita, Krishna says that he's the Suhrit, he's the well-wisher, and he's the one who can actually protect us. So, we can note in Paundraka a kind of weakness that grows from the illusion of thinking that one is protected by one's well-wishers and advocates. Someone's advocating for you, whoever it may be. They don't know your frailties, and they don't know, in general, if they're telling you you're not going to be subjected to the material nature, that actually you are. They don't know that. They're an illusion. So Paundraka was in that kind of illusion. He was surrounded by sycophants who had a false idea. Of course, a lot of times the sycophants, they're dependent on some leader for getting material rewards, and therefore they follow that person either blindly or they even know that the person's not infallible, but at least they're getting paid. So they don't want to rock the boat. Living entities in the material world have a sense of having a little, even if their existence is meager, they think, well, at least that's my little thing here in this world. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose what they have. The devotees, on the other hand, have a sense that wherever I go, I'll depend on Krishna. And in all circumstances, I'll depend on Krishna. They don't feel dependent on any one particular situation. As is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, Narayana paraksarvena kutaschana pipyati swarga pavarga narakeshu apitulyarta darshina. A devotee develops this sense that Krishna is always taking care of me, and that's a fact. Krishna's always looking out for every living entity. And especially devotees. Yogakshamam Mahamyaham. He takes a personal interest because they take a personal interest in him. He says, Samaham sarvabhuteshu nami dveshosti na priya ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai te teshu chapyaham. I treat everyone equally, but somebody who embraces me, I fully embrace them. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. Manavartante manusha partasarvasha. Means Krishna reciprocates exactly according to our desire, and there's a way in which, if one has a lesser desire, one has a substandard desire, then Krishna fulfills that substandard desire, and everyone says, say, well, look what, God didn't give me much. And it's like, well, you didn't ask for much, nor did you qualify yourself for much. Whereas the devotee becomes qualified by his or her devotion to Krishna, ye bhajanti, to mam bhaktya, to giving their heart and soul to Krishna. And Krishna says in Gita, ananyas chintayantamam, everyone knows this one, ye jana paripasate tesham nityabdyuktanam yogakshemam bahamyaham, that those who are exclusively devoted to me without any other consideration. That Krishna says he protects such people. The fallacy in the material world is that I'm the center, I'm opulent, and I'm protecting myself. So Paundraka is an example of this in the extreme. There are a lot of iconic figures in the Bhagavatam who demonstrate the mentality of an errant, conditioned soul. What's the word? Sycophant. Who can spell it before we say it? Sycophant. S, you're saying SYCOPHANT. How did they do? Good?
Yes.
Okay, good, scored points.
Sycophant is a noun which means a person who acts obsequiously towards...
Obsequious, that's another word.
Yes. Towards
Look
someone important in order to gain advantage.
Say it again.
A person who acts obsequiously towards someone important in order to gain advantage.
Ooh. Sycophants. We find sycophants who are obsequious throughout the Bhagavatam. They blindly follow. In fact, I never cease to be amazed at when Krishna kills some demon, that the followers of the demon think that then they're going to rush in and kill Krishna. It started with Hiranyaka and then Hiranyakashipu. He doubled down. He killed my brother. Now I'm going to kill you and I'm going to hate you. And how was that working out for him? Okay, obsequious. Not so good.
Obsequious is prompt to serve.
Who wants to spell it? OPSEQUI. Then what? OUS, is that right?
Yes.
You guys are on fire. Obsequious for 500.
Obsequious is prompt to serve, meekly compliant with the will or wishes of another. It comes from Latin obsequious, which means compliant or obedient, and it's a pejorative sense of fawning, sycophant, and unduly compliant.
Fawning sycophants. And it's pejorative, which means that's bad. So, Paundraka had sycophants who were obsequiously following him, and he actually believed he was the real Vasudeva. So there's a way in which I can also believe I'm self-sufficient in this world, but Krishna advises us to remember that Bhoktaram Yagatapasam, that when we satisfy him, rather than trying to satisfy our own senses, then we will be satisfied. That's the implication of these three principles. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam. Yagya means we'll be happy by sacrifice. Sacrifice means to give something to a higher person. And if we learn to do that principle, to give what's valuable, whatever we have, and to give our senses, to engage our senses in Krishna's service, to give to Him, then we'll naturally be satisfied because we're part and parcel of Krishna. Who can give a verse from the 7th canto, 9th chapter that expresses that perfectly? Naivatmana praborayam nijalabha purnam manam janada vidushat karano vranite yadyajano bhagavate vidhitamanam tashatmane pratimukasya yatamukashri. Which means that, interesting example, Prahlad Maharaj says, when you decorate your face and you're looking in the mirror, then you'll notice that the image in the mirror is also decorated. So the idea he's giving is that we are part and parcel of Krishna, like a mirror image. And when we decorate Krishna, then we become decorated. If we try to do it independently, then we won't be satisfied. So Paundraka, the Paundraka syndrome, and there are iconic figures that we can look at and see that this is what develops here in the material world, is to think oneself independent of Krishna and even a challenger of Krishna. This is, Bhagavatam also says, we get ourselves in a reverse mentality. Actually, I am eternal servant of Krishna, and Krishna is my well-wisher and friend, right? And then he says, Bhayam Dvida abhinibeta beshatasya ishad apetasya viparyo smriti, which means that apetasya, we turn away from our real relationship with Krishna in service. Viparyo smriti means that we have an opposite mentality. Our real self-interest and our eternal dharma is to serve Krishna. He's our best friend, but then I somehow become averse to him. And then because of that, I'm always fearful. Just as Kamsa was always fearful of Krishna because he took that sense of being Krishna's challenger and wanting to kill Krishna. So Paundraka is almost a ludicrous example of this, because when Krishna was sitting in his assembly, a messenger from Paundraka came and said that Paundraka is the real Vasudeva. And he's demanding that you hand over your symbols of Vishnu. And Krishna humorously says, you want them handed over? I'll hand them over to you. You really want me to hand over my disc? I'll give it to you, all right. And Krishna emphatically sends an emphatic message back. And says, I defy your statement, and I will, you're a fool and a rascal, and I will meet you personally, and I'll kill you. So imagine Paundraka, who's an ordinary living being, somehow he got a benediction from Shiva. People get benedictions through the material nature, and then they surround themselves with sycophants, and they start to think that they're powerful. And that's like Paundraka. He actually thought he was Vishnu. And Shiva had given him some sense of being Vishnu because, as mentioned in the purports, there was a way that the symbols appeared to really adhere to him. He looked a little like that. There was a verisimilitude of being Vasudeva. And when they met on the battlefield, Krishna insulted him. Of course, Paundraka insulted Krishna first, and then Krishna defied him, insulted him back, and then said, here, you want the symbols? Here you go. And he chopped off his head. So we have to be careful of the Paundraka syndrome. We may think, oh, Paundraka, he was ridiculous. But if I look at my own idea that, oh, I'm the center, all my paraphernalia is my disc, my club, my bank account is powerful, my relatives, they'll protect me, I have the best doctors, whatever best I have in this world to protect myself. I may think that this is, now I'm independent of Vasudeva. And I've become kind of a Vasudeva with all my stuff. So the Vaishnavas always remember to be meek and humble. It's one of the processes of surrender that I can't protect myself. It doesn't matter what I have in this world. These are what Shukadeva Goswami calls fallible soldiers that I align myself with. So it's not that we're without protection. We're always protected by Krishna. But when I try to independently protect myself, and of course I have to qualify that by saying in the verse, Balasya Neha Sharanam Pitaro Nrsimha, in which Prahlad Maharaj says parents can't protect their children, a boat on water can't protect the drowning man, and a doctor with all his or her best intentions and best medicines can't necessarily protect the patient. Prabhupada mentions, of course, we do everything we can when there is an opportunity to take whatever medicine is available, or to protect a child, or to try to save somebody on the ocean who's drowning. We do our best, but he reminds us, does Prahlad Maharaj, that without Krishna's sanction, it's not going to be successful. And then in the 67th chapter, I'll just say a few ones and we'll have some conversation to bring out some more of the points. One of the very powerful lessons in the chapter 67, which is Balaram sways Dvida gorilla. And one of the astounding aspects of this chapter is the mention by our acharyas that Dvida is a noted devotee. Here we find him fighting with Balaram and insulting Balaram and his associates. Balaram had come to Vrindavan and he was there with his gopis, Raivataka mountain. Dvida had come there and interrupted Balaram's dalliance with his intimate associates. If you see monkeys in Vrindavan, they get agitated when they see people having fun or just walking around. They'll get up in a tree and they'll go like this. Dvida was doing that. He was making noises, really whimsical gorilla kind of noises. Kila, 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 kila. And showing his eyes, rolling back and forth in a whimsical way. He showed his private parts just to insult Balaram, and he was there with his own gopis and he insulted them and so forth. And then of course he fought with Balaram. He had the audacity to fight. And ultimately Balaram smashed him and killed him. Although in the process they invented cricket, which was because they were using natural implements, and at one point, Dvida was throwing stones and boulders at Balaram, who picked up trees and was smacking him over the fence. And that's his pastime. But in the beginning of this chapter, we find out that Dvida and his other associate, Mainda, were intimate associates and servants of Ramchandra. There's two opinions. One is that of Jiva Goswami and the other is of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. One is that Jiva Goswami says, because of bad association, Dvida, although he was an intimate servitor of Ram, and Mainda also. They had become contaminated by bad association. And the other point Jiva Goswami makes is these Dvida in this pastime, and also the Mainda, who's not in this pastime, is also mentioned. They're both expansions of the originals who live with Ram in the spiritual world. And they specifically came to show that by bad association, even if you're an intimate associate of the Lord, you can be dissuaded and corrupted. So of course in this story, Dvida, he's becomes such an offensive character. And one of the lessons that we can take away is that by association we can become exalted and elevated. And by substandard association we can become substandard. Or we can also be completely degraded by association. Who knows a verse from the Bhagavad Gita in which Krishna says that the cause of whatever situation we're in, substandard or superior or ordinary, comes from our association? Huh? Don't look it up. Just say it. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead. Unless you have to. Go ahead.
So this is in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Dhyayato Vishyan Pumsa Sangasteshu Bhajayate Sanga Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodhot Bhavati Sammoha Sammoha Smriti Vibramaha Smriti Bhramshat Buddhinasha Buddhinashat Pranashyati. So everything starts with contemplation, by meditation and by associating with that object.
Perfect verse. I'm thinking of another one in the 13th chapter. Yes, Shraddha. We'll give you the mic.
Dandat Pranams Maharaj. It's 13.22. Purusha prakriti stohi bhunkte prakriti jair gunar karanam guna sangasya sad asad yoni janmashu. So it's saying because of association with the modes of material nature, the soul, which is transcendental, it takes birth in sad and asad yonishu, in good and bad wombs.
And how do we normally associate with the three modes of material nature? Through people who have acquired them. We have association with people, and they have certain modalities, and because of our association with them, we become like them. So this is science, and we find that this carries over from Paundra. He had sycophantic association, and they bolstered his idea of being the false Vasudeva. He went for it. And we have the indication from our acharyas that Dvida was a great devotee, and so was Mainda, and they both became corrupted. Actually, it's mentioned that they became corrupted by whom? Narakasura. Who's he? Krishna's son. And he became a demon. And so there's a way that by association we're either elevated or we're degraded. This is not a point to be missed, because if one wants to become elevated in devotional service, we have to be very careful about our association. If we associate with people who have a negative attitude, then we'll have a negative attitude. If we associate with those who are enthusiastic and optimistic about devotional service, then we'll also develop that. So one of the questions of how to situate myself in this lifetime based on Krishna's instruction, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yujacha mayarpita mano buddhir mami vaishyasya samshaya. Let's start with the end in mind and work backwards. 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna's very apt question is, how can we remember you at the time of death? And Krishna answers Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu, in all times, places, circumstances, you remember me. And if you do that, see, without a doubt, then you'll be able to remember me at the time of death. So then we have to work in the world, right? Say yes. Yeah. And then we said, decide where should I go, who should I be with, and so forth. Well, to the best of your ability, choose those situations where you can fulfill the instruction in this verse, that you can remember Krishna in all times and circumstances, even as you do your work, which is necessary to pay the rent. You have to situate yourself in a way that you can remember Krishna in all times and circumstances. If you put yourself in a far-flung place with those whose consciousness is absorbed in the material nature, then what will happen is you'll naturally, over either a short or a long period of time, you'll also forget Krishna. And if somehow or other you can keep yourself close to your service and devotee association one way or another, then even as you work in the world and do what you have to do, then you'll be able to remember Krishna. And this is the sum and substance. Tannama Rupa Charitadu Sukirtananu. This is what we say, Rupa Goswami is the essence of all advice. It matches with this, that put yourself in a situation where you can continue your hearing and chanting. And if you can do that, you can put yourself in a situation where you have a successful life. And a successful life means the end is in place. At the end, you're able to fully remember Krishna. If you get everything else right in this world, says Narada Muni, Tyaktva sudharmam charanam bhujam harer bhajana pakvota. No. Tasyaiva hetu prayate kovido. No, the other one works. Tyaktva sudharmam charanam bhujam harer bhajana pakvota patetato yadi yatra kwa vabhajram abuddha mushakim kovarta apto bhajatam dharmata. If you get everything else right in this world, 1600 SAT, best school, best job, whatever other kinds of accolades you can get in the material world. Best father, you get a little mug for Father's Day, you're the best father. All these things are nice, no doubt, but he says you get all that right, but you didn't get remembering Krishna at the time of death. Then he said, you blew it. He said, what did you get? Kovarta apto bhajatam sudharmata. But if you get the bhajan part right and you miss all the other stuff and everyone goes, that guy? I've been in ISKCON for 50 years now, and I've seen a lot of circumstances like, that guy? Where did he come from? He looks like practically incoherent, but he's there at Mangalartik in the Bhagavatam class. It's 100 degrees out. Why is he wearing 3 sweatshirts? And why does he sit like that? And who cares? He's at the morning program. Oh, thank you. Thanks everyone for tuning in to our broadcast here at ISV. So we have to get the most important aspect right, that we end up being able to remember Krishna at the time of death. Everything has to add up to that. Otherwise, you got your calculation wrong, and what happens? Start over next time, try to get it right the next time. Why not get it right this time? That's why we have our acharyas, we have our shastra, we have association. Prabhupada left a clear track. Yeah, you could do your work, but don't lose the bhajan. You got to have a solid bhajan as you're doing your work, and you have to have stellar association somehow or other. Beg, borrow, or steal, that was Charvak Muni's philosophy to get sense gratification, because you're not going to, there is no afterlife. What's that thing? You only live once? What's the YOLO? Yeah, YOLO's a complete farce, and so is Charvak Muni's idea. Just get as much sense gratification. First of all, it doesn't work because you get sick of it anyway. You get sick of sense gratification really fast, and you just go nuts. You can't sustain it. You take drugs, and the body gets used to it, and it says, that's all you got? And meanwhile, you're addicted, and so you can't get out of it, or you eat too much ghee, then you feel terrible. You should eat a little ghee, not a lot. Like Charvak Muni's thing doesn't work, YOLO doesn't work. But if you have a life that's in harmony with the instruction of the Bhagavatam of Narada Muni, that, yeah, do your work, but the first thing is make sure you got your bhajan going on. If you don't have that, and you little by little extend yourself out and forget your bhajan or miss it, don't miss your bhajan. Sankhya Purvaka Namagan, you count it. It has to be precise every day, lines in stone. Can't miss it. Because by degrees, I notice that we fade away. We don't suddenly say, oh, I don't like this anymore. It's by little degrees. Fade means 1 degree at a time, miss half a round, next thing you know, it's a whole round, next thing you know, it's no big deal. And then you find yourself in a far-flung place, so don't find yourself in a far-flung place. Stay close. If the associates of Ram, Dvida and Mainda, can end up fighting against Krishna, if Paundraka can end up in such illusion that he thinks he's Vasudeva, it can happen to anybody. And that's one of the points in the Bhagavatam. Don't think that you're immune to this. I said I'd take points, but I'll mention one more in the marriage of Samba. Yeah, Duryodhana's daughter, Lakshmana. It's funny, there's a mixture of all kinds of characters in the Bhagavatam. So, Samba means mama's boy. He liked his mama. But he was also a powerful fighter, one of Krishna's sons. So there's a way that he became attracted to Duryodhana's daughter, who wanted a swayamvar. Her father, Duryodhana, wanted a swayamvar. For aristocrats, there was a way in which the marriage would be arranged amongst Kshatriyas, the warrior caste, that they would put out a contest to test the valor of the suitor who would come for the daughter. We should have that too. What do you think? You come up with something. Yeah, if you can recite this and distribute so many books, and then if you can cook a whole Raj Bhog, then we'll think about it. And so Duryodhana had a swayamvar set up, but there was another kind of system of marriage called the Gandharva marriage, where the Kshatriya would just go, and this is Kshatriya culture, they would just go and grab the girl and ride off. And then people would try to fight. Krishna did it. He stole Rukmini. As Rukmini sent him a letter, and she had heard about him just from others who were talking about him. She never met him. And of course there were no go to Wikipedia thing and see the picture and so forth. It's like his qualities, when the people talked about him, and she decided in her heart, her young, tender heart, and she said, only Krishna. She's such a perfect example of a devotee. You hear about Krishna and you say, that's it. Ananyas chintayanto mam. I may do other things in the world. I'm going to, but I'm only, all my stuff's for Krishna. Prabhupada had that motto, all for Krishna, nothing for me. It seems opposite. Most people in the material world say, everything for me, maybe a little something for Krishna, but much later, not now. So Rukmini had that, and Krishna came, and it's described how he pulled her out of the wedding party like a lion who would come in and steal away amidst all the jackals, steal away the catch. And then he rode away, and they fought. They chased after him. Balaram brought his warriors also, and they fought off all the disappointed other princes. And in this case, at the Swayamvar, the Samba just came in, and instead of doing the contest, he just grabbed the girl and rode off. And then all the Kauravas chased after him and fought, and he was in a valiant fight. But they overpowered him, and they grabbed him, and they didn't want to hurt him because he had already, in essence, married Lakshmana. Because in that culture, if you grab the girl, that's it. You know, okay, he got us this time. And he took her away. But they wanted to shake him up a little bit and show that, we didn't really like this. So they captured him and held him. And Ugrasena said, give him back. And Balaram went. Balaram went to meet with the Kauravas. They all liked him. They really liked Balaram because, and it's interesting too, I was saying he was friends with Duryodhana. Sometimes things get complicated in this world too. You have a society like ISKCON, and somebody likes this one, you like him? Yeah, well, Balaram liked Duryodhana, so what are you going to do about it? It's just the way friendship goes sometimes. And when Balaram went there to give a message to them, they all greeted him very cordially. Narada had gone ahead also. They worshipped Narada. They knew how to worship the sadhus. And then, of course, Balaram is the great exalted personality of Godhead, friend of Duryodhana. They offered praise and worship until he told them what he wanted. And this is an interesting phenomena also, because we may offer all kinds of worship and appreciation, yes, Prabhu, until Prabhu says what Prabhu wants. And he said, as he stood tall, that Ugrasena has, as the king of all of us, has demanded that you give back Samba and release him and Lakshmana and let them go on with their lives. And he's the sovereign king. Obey. They didn't like that. It's another symptom of the pinching of material consciousness. One gets oneself in a situation where when the order comes down, then it's like, yeah, everyone but me. Or no thanks, I don't want to follow that. There's a sort of aversion to following the authority. And the Kauravas had that. They came out with the most vitriolic statements against Balaram's idea. They said, what do you think? Who do these Vrishnis think they are? They think they're like the shoes. And now the shoe wants to come on the head. We're the head. And they're the shoes. They went on with this kind of degrading talk. Who do you think you are? We're in charge of everything, not you. Until Balaram picked up his plow. And he does this because we know that when he was in Vrindavan, and Jamuna thought, he's intoxicated. You shouldn't come in here. And he said, come near. And she wouldn't come, so he said, okay, I'll make you come. And he dragged with the plow. And in the same way, when the Kauravas didn't cede to his instruction, to Ugrasena's instruction to give back Samba. And Lakshmana, he grabbed the earth with his plow and began to drag the whole city. They felt like an earthquake. They were tumbling back and forth. And then they all said, oh, no, 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 no. And they came out and offered their prayers and said, no, no, you're right. We forgot. You're the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And you can have, and what's more, Duryodhana gave a huge dowry. Thousands of elephants and horses and maidservants and everything with gold. And yeah, please take it. So it's inevitable that one's consciousness will get reversed in this world. So it's best to remember who's who. Romaharshan, similar mistake. Because he was so learned, and Prabhupada used to say little learning is dangerous. Especially he said little Sanskrit learning. Like, yeah, I know as much as the acharyas. At least a lot more than most people anywhere else. Which means that you've already lost the fruit of your learning, starting to think like you know more than everybody else. The fruit of learning actually is one becomes more humble and therefore can learn from everybody else, even those who are supposedly not learned. So if we remember Romaharshan, when Balaram came to Naimisharanya, everyone stood up except for Romaharshan. As he was comfortably seated on the Vyasasana, he should have stood up. When you don't stand up, when a superior person comes, then your life airs will crush you. And Balaram noticed right away that he was puffed up with knowledge and he didn't stand up. Everyone offered respect. And Balaram removed him from his post. He wasn't qualified. So what's the qualification? It's to be humble. And remember who's in charge. And to give to Krishna what he asked for. Okay, I'll take a few reflections or questions. Yes, Halayuta Kripa.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for this class. I had 3 quick points. First is when you talked about Krishna and Rukmini and the Gandharva marriage, what I thought of was like, there's a lot of movies out there nowadays, especially in Bollywood, about the hero stealing the heroine and the heroine's family fighting, and all I thought about when I see those things nowadays is they're just stealing the Bhagavatam, bro. And then the second point I had, also a bit funny, was we talked about Sankhya Purvakam today, and so I was thinking it was actually the 6 Goswamis who invented data science, because they're analyzing the numbers and thinking about how to improve their efficiency and everything. And lastly, we spoke about association, and I was reading a verse from the prayers of Lord Shiva, so I just wanted to share that. It was about association of devotees. It goes, "My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the cause of all auspicious things and the destroyer of all the contaminations of sin. I therefore beg your Lordship to bless me by the association of your devotees who are completely purified by worshipping your lotus feet and who are so merciful upon the conditioned souls. I think that your real benediction will be to allow me to associate with such devotees." So I just thought that like Lord Shiva is the best of the Vaishnavas, but still his wish is to get association of pure devotees. So it's a really good example for us to follow.
Thank you. Nice points. Yes.
I had a question, if that's
okay.
Yes. You spoke a lot about association, and I was wondering if you could give any advice on how to stay high-minded even amidst poor association.
One is to have a strong bhajan. It's hinted at in Prabhupada's purport that when you have worldly activities that you have to attend to, and most people do, you're going to have worldly association. So he says the way to be able to survive or thrive in that situation, he said, is to chant Hare Krishna. And to chant Hare Krishna means that Sankhya Purvaka Namaganandati, you maintain your part of the bhajan. if you have, in any situation, unless you have your morning program together, you finish your stuff. Whatever it is, have a list and make sure that you finish it. And that's your main thing. And know that that gives you a modicum of protection. And the other is, in a story that Prabhupada told about the monkey and the crocodile, crocodiles eat monkeys. But monkey in the tree overhanging the river, and somehow the monkey and the crocodile started a conversation, and every day they would talk, and the crocodile was a little bit simple, and he started to like the monkey as a friend, and vice versa. And one day, the crocodile, when he was home in his little marsh pit where he lives, I don't know where alligators live, but I imagine it's a little marshy, and he told his wife that I made friends with a monkey, and she said, "Ooh, monkey, my favorite food is monkey heart. Why don't you bring him for lunch?" Meaning, we'd like to eat him. And with a little bit of cognitive dissonance, because he was his friend, the alligator went back and he talked to the monkey in the tree, and he said, "My wife says you should come home for lunch." The monkey said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah." He was a little simple, was the alligator, and the monkey finally said, "Okay," because he was friends. So he jumped on his back, and as he was tooling across the water with the monkey on his back, the alligator said, "Yeah, and it's kind of weird because she says she likes monkey heart." And then the monkey was more intelligent than the alligator, and he thought, "Oh, I get it. She wants to eat me, not that she's going to feed me lunch." And then he said to the rather simple crocodile that, "Oh, I wish you had told me that, because I left my heart in the tree." And crocodile said, "Should we go back?" Monkey said, "Yeah, better go back." So they went back. He made a U-turn, and they went back. And the monkey jumped in the tree and said, "Yeah, no, I don't think I'll come for the lunch thing." And Prabhupada gave the idea that although we may be in the midst of those who would like to devour us one way or the other, if we keep our heart separate, keep our heart with Krishna, keep our heart on the altar, on the hundi, or amidst the association of devotees, make that your heart is your home. Your home should be with the devotees. So even as you move about, don't open your heart. You have to associate in various ways. Yes, no. This is mentioned also in the, Prabhupada talks about this, answers this exact question in the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, near the end, where Narada is instructing Vasudeva. And he says, when you're associating with worldly people, when you're a devotee, you should be official. They say, "How about this?" He said, "Oh yes, very good, thank you very much. Yes sir, no sir." But your heart's not into it. But there are ways you may have to cooperate or resonate according to their idea with what they're doing. You want to, we're going to do this now. You're obligated to do it. Sometimes devotees say, for business, you have to go and sit with people for lunch. Otherwise, they start thinking, what's wrong with this guy? That happens, right? "Oh, yes, sir, why not?" And that's like, "Well, why are you only eating a salad or whatever?" It's like, yeah, I'm on the same diet that, I'm following this. It's from the internet, I only eat lettuce when I'm around you guys. You go along with it, but you have to tolerate. And some cultures are harder than others. In Japan, after business hours, everyone goes out and gets drunk, because Japanese culture is so restrained, and there's there's so much etiquette involved in talking to your superiors, and the levels of the hierarchy are so clear. Even in the language, there's 4 or 5 different levels of expressing yourself when you talk. And when you're talking to superiors, it's super polite language. But after hours, they go and they drink alcohol, and they get so inebriated that it doesn't matter what you say. And nobody minds. You can tell your boss you hate them and everything, because they need some release. So, the reason I brought that up is because I have a godbrother who lives in Japan, and he's working in a certain place, and they'd insist that he come. You have to come to the bar with us. Of course, you go there and have a sarsaparilla instead of a root beer. That's a root beer, by the way. Instead of the regular beer. I mean, it's not ideal, but vidyam cha yes. When you live in the world as a devotee, you maintain your bhajan, and then you're forced into situations where he's like, I got to sit with these people. There's something that grows in your heart where, like, when I get the chance to break free from this, I'm really going to flee. That's a good thing. And it can happen as we grow up, in Krishna consciousness, as we go through different phases of our life, and it's like, God, I actually don't like this anymore. But and you're looking at yourself going like, but you're still here. You're with these people. It's like, Krishna, could you get me out of this? It's like, in due course of time. You see what it feels like. You look at it objectively. This is what you've been doing for many lifetimes now. You look at it and you see, do you really not want it? Or would you like to integrate yourself back into this and be one of the false Vasudevs of the world? And when you get that fortification in your heart that no mas, that's it, then there's a kind of protection. But we always have to keep that. Be aware that if you let yourself go, the material world's very willing to swallow you up at any time. We have Vaikuntha Nayaka coming live from Mysore Palace, Mysore Pak. Mysore Pak.
Dandavat Pranam Guru
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna.
All Guru Street. Maharaj, my question was, can you hear me, Maharaj?
Yep.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, my question was about this Paundraka's attitude, right? This whole Advaita Mayavada philosophy, I am guessing, is like Paundraka philosophy itself, where the followers of these philosophies want to become Krishna, right? So, first of all, is that correct conclusion? And the second part was that actually Krishna did not tolerate Paundraka trying to impersonate him. But this entire Advaita philosophy is part of the Vedic culture, and the Vedas are in effect part of Krishna. So Krishna seems to have accommodated this philosophy, even though it is doing exactly what Paundraka is tried to do, right? So if you could please elaborate on this.
Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataiva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Sakali Ashanta. It's a simple formula. Bhukti Mukti Siddhi represents everyone who's not a pure devotee. Bhukti, I want some material enjoyment from the world. I work hard because I think I can position myself in such a way, heavenly planets, or, I don't know, Woodside. I don't know, that didn't strike a chord. Where's the place? Cupertino? I don't know. Whatever it is, I'll live there. I'll be happy for the rest of my life. Bhukti Mukti, I'll get liberation. Siddhi, I'll get some mystic power. And Ashanta, they're all not peaceful, but the devotee's completely peaceful. So, yeah, it's correct. Everyone has some angle. Everyone who does have some angle in this world is not peaceful, nor can they make other people peaceful. And the ideas, the YouTubes they put out don't make you perfect or peaceful because they have some angle. Like, hit the subscribe button. So yeah, we were thinking about this a while ago. In the material world, the materialist wants to be the boss. And then, you remind me if you can remember how this all works. And then that you have people, there's some philosophies, they'll say, there is no boss. Like in some forms of Buddhism, they say, actually, you don't exist. And there is no God. So there's no boss. Materialist, I want to be the boss. I'll work hard to become the boss. Become your own boss. And then the Buddhists, there is no boss. Then we have the Mayavadis, merge with the boss, become one with the boss. They're different ideas, but Krishna says, Nirmana moha jita sangosha, don't be the boss. Let Krishna be the boss, and then shanta, you'll be happy, you'll be peaceful. Otherwise, bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakaliya shanta. So that is the subtlety in the material world. Madhavendra Puri, he only thought how to serve Krishna. And he didn't want anything from Krishna. He didn't ask anything from anybody and didn't want anything. He just wanted to serve. And that's pure devotional service. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma jnanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilaram bhaktir uttama. Pure devotional service means no concept that I'm going to elevate myself. You just take advantage of the offer from Krishna to surrender to him and render service. Okay? Yeah, and if you live way down there in South India, it's good to study the philosophies of Madhvacharya that Prabhupada puts out and everything else to defeat the misunderstandings that people have, because you run into them more down there. That's why Krishna sent you down there. Devotees don't know why Krishna is sending him somewhere like Tapana Mishra. When he was confused, Tapana Mishra read too many books and he got confused. Watched too many YouTube things. And then so he got confused and then he had a dream that you'll meet this golden avatar. You ask him. And so it just happened to be that Lord Chaitanya was in his area. It was in East Bengal. And then he met Mahaprabhu and he realized he's the one that I saw in my dream. So he offered his obeisance and said, what should I do? And he said, chant Hare Krishna. And while you're at it, go to Varanasi. And all the devotees are like, Varanasi, that's full of Mayavadis. He just knew Bhakta. Where should I go? Varanasi. And the author mentions that Lord Chaitanya knew he was going there to defeat the Mayavadis. And Tapana Mishra would be there. So, Lord Chaitanya sent you to South India to be with the Mayavadis. Because you have a powerful curiosity and a good intellect for the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So you can study it really carefully and influence the people down there. It's your whole area. It's been bequeathed to you. Right? Confirmation. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I had a question.
Yeah, what's the shirt? I can't see it. It's covered. Oh, that's the Bruins. Okay, go ahead.
I was wondering if there was a particular reason that Balaram was friends with Duryodhana, because Duryodhana was a demon and Balaram was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So.
Well, you'll find in the pastime of the Shyamtaka Jewel that when Krishna and Balaram chased after Shatadhanva. Shatadhanva got implicated in the whole murder scene. Yeah, it's horrible. It's something to give you nightmares, the whole Shyamataka Jewel story. Shatadhanva had been implicated in killing Shatrajit, and then he handed over the Shamataka jewel to Kura, and then he took off running. That's the scenario that's scary. In the material world, everyone's running away from something. I always wondered how bank robbers could have a peaceful life. You rob the bank and then everyone's chasing you for the rest of your life. That's material life, really. Whatever you get, everyone wants it back, and if you get too much, they want it all, and they get envious, and everyone's running. But if you surrender to Krishna and you just say, sorry, I already gave everything, nobody wants to chase after you anymore. And material nature doesn't chase you. So in any case, Shatadhanva took off on a horse. He rode it until the horse died. And Krishna and Balaram chased after him. That's a lose-lose proposition for the person who's being chased. And then finally, his horse died in some place near Matila. And Krishna ran after him, killed him. I think he used his chakra, chopped off his head, and then he searched his body and he didn't have the jewel. And then he told Balaram, who came after him, that he said, oh, we uselessly chased and killed this person. He doesn't have the jewel. And Balaram said, anyway, we're down here near Matila. I have a friendship there with the king. I'm going to go there. And Duryodhana was there too. And Balaram spent the time there for several years teaching him how to use the club. That came all the way back to the story at the end of Kurukshetra when he fought with Bhima in the club. That's why he was so expert. He learned it right from Balaram. So it was in that... who asked the question? So it was in that context that, your student-teacher thing, martial arts, and you learn the whole thing, and that's where he got friendly and familiar with Duryodhana. Yes, Prabhu? Thank you. We'd like to welcome you back to ISV. We were wondering why we couldn't get any bhav, and then we realized this morning when the bhav came back in and the dancing started again and you two are here, all you four are here, that somehow or other we've been dragging ourselves along. Thank you very much for coming back. It really means the world to us. Hare Krishna.
It means to us as well, Maharaj. Maharaj, there is very severe correction that is happening in this story, in the two pastimes. One is Balaram correcting Dvida and Krishna correcting Paundra for the impudence. So oftentimes we are in situations in leadership roles where we have to actually correct. And we understand the way Krishna is correcting is for the ultimate benefit of the other person. How can we evaluate that when we are correcting, we are having the same consciousness in the moment and after that as well?
You mean how you're correcting someone, whether it's the right thing to do or not?
In this case, they corrected them very strongly, and even Balaram is pulling Yamuna, and the correction is very severe. So sometimes we end up in situations where we have to correct
somebody.
Yeah. So in the moment, and we understand that when the Lord corrects, it's for the ultimate benefit of the other person. Now, if we end up doing something like that, how can we maintain? I can maintain my own consciousness in that moment and also not doubt myself afterwards whether I did it right or not.
Measure 9 times, cut once. In decisions about correcting people, especially if you're in an administrative position, consider all sides. Don't let the influence of the moment, the passion of the moment come in. Make sure that you vet the situation really carefully before you remove somebody, correct somebody, move somebody along. And it helps to talk to people from different perspectives and explain the situation to make sure that you have the nuance in mind before you make such a move. As if things are done out of a sense of false ego, they're bound to go wrong. This is something you've heard me say so many times, but it's a good rule to live by. The Vrajabihari Prabhu's little chart. The more your emotion goes up, the more your reasoning goes down. Inverse relationship between emotion and reason. And if we feel emotional towards someone when we're making a decision about them, we're likely to be missing something. So it's helpful to step back a little bit. I wrote this in my book, I remember because I just read it the other day, and a friend of mine, a godbrother, had loaned or given me something, and I thought he gave it, but then years later he wanted it back. And I had been disturbed by that, and I wrote a letter, an email, which I subsequently read to another godbrother before, thank goodness, I pushed the send button. And my other godbrother said, "Oh, very interesting, but don't send it." And I didn't. And then as it turned out, because I was emotional at that point, it would have been the wrong thing to do. And it's really hard to take back something once you say it, especially if you write it, or even if you say it. So it's better to let things settle, check in from different perspectives before you write it, before you make the decision. Be cautious in making criticisms. And also, if you're in administration, then, well, pray to God a lot. Because that's a dangerous situation to be in. And so you have to be extra careful. And I think, I've noticed the people who are extra careful, of course, you don't want to be ineffective also and not make a decision, but if you're careful about it and you're also gentle about it and take time to explain it to people, you're likely not going to be overly emotional about it too, because it's more rational. And oftentimes in making a decision, if you can offer something that's equitable to the person, reasonable and equitable, not just fire them for some reason that you don't like the way they do things, but find some other way that they can be engaged at the same time so that they have an alternative so they don't lose face. Like, you can go to the forest and live there for some years. There's lots of fruits there you're going to like. So carefully, with consideration and with checking in from different points of view to make sure that you're not missing something. If you do that, then although it may go slightly slower, at least you've done it with care. And that's something that people will appreciate. And you're likely not to cause bloodshed. Okay? All right. Last one, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful explanation of the pastimes. So first one is, I have a couple of reflections. So where Lord Shiva is giving benedictions to people like Paundra. So I used to wonder, clearly the faults of the demon is visible. And then still Lord Shiva goes and gives the benedictions to those people. So I used to wonder why Lord Shiva does like that. But recently I was reading a verse where Sati confronts Daksha. So Daksha insults Shiva. And then when Sati goes to the sacrifice next time, so Sati confronts saying that you are worst among the asadhus and Shiva is the best among the sadhus. So Vishnu Chakravarti gives 4 levels of sadhu, where at the highest level, right, the person doesn't see any faults only. And then at the next level, even though if he sees little fault, he magnifies and then glorifies that person. So there it is explained, Prabhupada writes in the purport, all these demons, even though they approach with a bad intention, because of their approaching a higher authority, Lord Shiva becomes pleased. So that way, right, Lord Shiva is actually not seeing the faults, but he just sees the good quality of that person approaching a higher authority, and then he gives these kind of benedictions. So I was reflecting on that when you were talking about Paundra. Thank you, Prabhu. And the second one is in the Kapila section, Kapila talks about association to Mother Devahuti. So he says that Prasangam Ajaram Pasham Atmanaha Kavayo Vidaho Sayeva Sadhu Sukruto Mokshadvaram Apavratam. So the material attachment, everybody knows that the material attachment causes entanglement. But when the same attachment is transferred to the sadhu, great souls, it opens the door for liberation. So I was just remembering that verse when you were explaining about association with good people versus bad people. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Such great points. Lord Shiva Zashutosh, easily pleased. Even Banasura, he gave so many benedictions to. And it's a conundrum when he has so much power and easily pleased, and people come to him and say, could I just ask a little favor? And some of them do all the craziest things to try to get favor from Shiva. But when he gave Banasura the benediction, he even warned him, somebody will come who will be way stronger and you break your flag, smash you. And Banasura was Durmati, that he had bad intelligence, he was a fool, so he thought, he didn't really believe that anybody could beat him. And that's one of the difficulties of material empowerment, is we think, like when you're young, you might think you're infallible. I used to think that. I don't know if I thought it so much as I felt it, but then you realize your vulnerability, at least I realized mine to some degree. And Banasura couldn't realize his vulnerability in front of Krishna. He thought, oh great, bring him on, I'll fight everybody. That kind of intoxication, Janmaishvarya Shruta Shribir. But it's mentioned there also that Shiva didn't mind empowering him because he knew that Krishna likes to fight. And also that he would smash him, and that would glorify Krishna in fighting such a powerful boxer with 10,000 arms. Did he have 10,000 or 1,000? I can't remember. 10,000? 1,000 only. Whatever it is, it was a lot. Yeah, very interesting nuances throughout the Shastra that the Acharyas give us vision and understanding of. In any case, when we take shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially the Bhagavatam with Prabhupada's purports and all the Acharyas, it gives us the intelligence to interact with the world and also not be surprised at anything that happens. Because the most surprising things happen in the Bhagavatam. You have every category of human interaction beyond what we could even imagine ourselves. And when we read the Bhagavatam and assimilate these circumstances in the context of Krishna's pastimes, then the material world and all the weird things that happen to us and everybody around us and on the news, they don't seem as punishing because we're preemptively taking them through the Bhagavatam and understanding the principles behind them. So without Bhagavatam, the world becomes an extremely abrasive place. With Bhagavatam, we're able to look at the world and understand that this is the way things move in the material world, and we understand the basic principles behind it. As we have this morning talked about a couple principles. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev, if you so desire, please empower us to read and understand the Bhagavatam so that we may become your dutiful servants in this material world and not be influenced by your external energy. Thank you very much for giving us the best of association and the intelligence to take advantage of it. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part? Please say Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare Krishna.
Now we have a special presentation from our Kaishore, from our Kaishores.
His Grace Vaisesika Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for another very enlivening class and discussion on the Srimad Bhagavatam. I got reminded that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has mentioned how our organization is going to be saved by maintaining our vows of chanting and reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what differentiates the International Society of Krishna Consciousness with other organizations. So with that, today I'd like to introduce Vedantu, who's going to talk about how Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam are non-different.
Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna. My name is Vedanta Bomik and I'm 12 years old. Today I'm going to be talking about the non-difference of Krishna and the Srimad Bhagavatam, where it all began. Krishna had left to his abode and Kali Yuga was approaching. So the sages of Namisharanya were very concerned about how the people of the gloomy age of Kali were going to always be disturbed. They asked Sutta Goswami to enlighten them, and Sutta Goswami later recited the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a translation of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.43. It says, "The Bhagavata Puran is as brilliant as the sun, and it has just arisen right after the departure of Lord Krishna, accompanied by his religion, knowledge, and etc. People who have lost their vision due to their dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana." This verse says about how Krishna has appeared as the Srimad Bhagavatam to enlighten all the fallen souls who have been succumbed to the dense darkness of the age of Kali. And the Bhagavata Puran is also known as the Srimad Bhagavatam. Up. Oh, okay. The importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost of all sacred Vaishnava scriptures. And Srila Rupa Goswami said that hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the 5 most potent forms of Bhakti Yoga. The Srila Prabhupada had also said that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the postgraduate study of the science of Godhead. The Srimad Bhagavatam was also written by Srila Vyasadeva, who is the literary incarnation of Godhead. The Bhagavatam cantos are Krishna's limbs. The first and second cantos are Krishna's lotus feet. The third and fourth are Krishna's thighs. The fifth is Krishna's navel. The sixth is Krishna's chest. The seventh and eighth are Krishna's arms. The ninth is Krishna's throat. The 10th is Krishna's lotus face. The 11th is Krishna's forehead. And the 12th is Krishna's head. whenever you read the Srimad Bhagavatam from the first canto to the 12th, it is as if you're taking Krishna's darshan from his lotus feet all the way to his head. The 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. The first is Sarga, which is universal creation by the Lord. The second is Visarga, which is the secondary creation by Lord Brahma. The third is Sthanam, which is the positioning of living things in different planets. The fourth is Posanam, which is the protection of devotees by the Lord. The fifth is Uti, which is the urge to act. The sixth is Manvantara, which is the reign of Manus. The seventh is Ishanukata, which is the topics of the Lord's incarnations and devotees. The eighth is Nirodha, which is destruction. The ninth is Mukti, which is freedom. And the 10th is Ashraya, which is the supreme shelter, Lord Krishna. All these, you have to understand all the 9 topics to fully understand the 10th one, Ashraya Tattva, which is the goal of human life. The supreme scripture. The Srimad Bhagavatam shows the topics of Lord Krishna and the process of his devotees, his devotional service. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also appreciated by many Puranas, such as the Garuda Puran and the Padma Puran. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also respected by many acharyas, like Srila Sanatana Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Prabhupada, and many others. And the Srimad Bhagavatam is Vyasadev's greatest work that surpasses all of his other scriptures. Some of Vyasadev's other scriptures are the Puranas, the Upanishads, the 4 Vedas, and others. Giving the Bhagavatam. In Srimad Bhagavatam 12.13.13, it says, if someone puts the Srimad Bhagavatam on the gold throne as a gift on a full moon day of the month Bhadra, he will attain the spiritual destination, Godhead. According to the Vaishnava calendar, the month of Bhadra is the month of Hrishikesh, and giving the Bhagavatam any time this month is sure to give spiritual eternal rewards. This is why we also celebrate Bhadra Purnima. And whenever you give the Srimad Bhagavatam, you are giving that person spiritual knowledge, and you yourself is achieving spiritual eternal rewards. Conclusion. In conclusion, Krishna and the Srimad Bhagavatam are the same because the limbs of Krishna are the Srimad Bhagavatam cantos. Every verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam leads to a deeper understanding, meaning, and appreciation of Lord Krishna. The Srimad Bhagavatam was composed by Srila Vyasadeva and is one of his greatest works. And distributing the Srimad Bhagavatam bestows eternal spiritual rewards. And the Srimad Bhagavatam is the supreme shelter in Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, and thank you for listening.
Vedanto.
Yep.
You're the artist, right?
Yeah.
No?
His younger brother, Shlok.
Oh, no, yeah. Shlok,
Okay.
yeah, Shlok.
He's a musician. He's an artist in that way.
What instrument do you play?
I play the guitar and I know a little harmonium.
Really? Well, your speaking skills are fantastic.
Thank you.
This is a really well organized. In fact, based on your presentation, I'd like to be the first one to sponsor a set of Srimad Bhagavatams for Vajra Purnima, which starts the day after tomorrow. Am I the first one? I'd like to sponsor on your behalf. Vedanto, on your behalf, I'm going to sponsor a set of Srimad Bhagavatams to be distributed to whomever you wish anywhere in the world. Due to the inspiration I got from your presentation. In fact, I think we should send you around. We could fly you around to different places and you could just go before the assemblage and deliver this message. And I think it would be fruitful. In any case, it was very well organized. You had a lot of information. Slides were easy to look at. And I think you have a big future in speaking, public speaking, because of the way you hold yourself and the way you deliver. Thank you very much. Excellent. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please go ahead. You want to have a...
First of all, amazing presentation. But I noticed something about your character as a speaker. When you were speaking, there were a couple of distractions. The clicker didn't work. Maybe you had to adjust the mic. But you absorbed the subject matter so well that nothing disturbed you, and you were able to continue after that. And that is, even experienced speakers get flustered by that. So that's a very good quality I noticed.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to share?
Is it okay if I ask a question?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
First of all, this is an amazing presentation. I can see how much time you or your brother put in through the presentation, and also the way you were able to convey your message was very clear, and I understood a lot of things. In fact, there were some things which even I didn't know before, and because of your presentation, I was able to understand. I know you're young, so this is just out of curiosity. I wanted to know how you think. You mentioned you related the cantos of Bhagavatam with the limbs of Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
What does it actually mean to you? What does it really mean to say that the first canto, relates to certain limbs of Krishna?
For me, it feels like that whenever if I'm reading the Bhagavatam in order, it's as joyful as taking darshan of Krishna from his lotus feet. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Guruma.
I agree with what everyone said. The slides were a work of art, and you covered so much. And I also liked that you had kind of a call to action with distributing the Bhagavatam. You gave us something to do to worship Bhagavatam besides reading it. And I thought that was a really important aspect of your presentation. And you do have a great presence up there. I look forward to hearing from you more. Thank you.
Ansupriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Vedanta. So I wanted to say that your presentation actually, even though we are aware of it, that it's Krishna's different limbs of the body, but actually now you had made it more meaningful for me. So I'm going to be reading, I'm going to be thinking of your bird eye view presentation, and I'll keep that in mind. So you actually, my understanding or getting to know Bhagavatam, you took me to the next level. So thank you for that help. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else? Okay. Oh, Prabhu. Can you please pass the mic? Sanjeev Prabhu. Okay.
I agree with all the amazing compliments everyone has given, 100%. And it was very powerful, very effective, very concise, brilliant. Just like you were saying, the Srimad Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun. Your presentation was brilliant. And I'm thinking, when we go for book distribution, if we could capture, on a simple bookmark style placard, one side representing Srimad Bhagavatam is no different from Krishna, the 10 limbs. On the other side, the 10 questions that are answered by Srimad Bhagavatam. That might be a very effective reminder for people, novice people like me who start up the reading. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that excellent suggestion, Prabhu. I think we will definitely implement it. I just want to thank Vedanto for this excellent presentation. He put in a lot of effort, and what touched me most was 4 weeks ago when I, talked to him about it, and within a day, he came back with the slides. So our presentation is, all our presentations are based on Gaurang Darshan Prabhu's Bhagavad Viveka book series, and each chapter, goes into a particular topic. So that's how we pick the topics. I let the children pick what they want. And this was one of the extensive topics which I gave to Vedanto, because till then nobody had picked it. I said, this is a very, very deep topic. And he delivered to perfection. So I'm so proud of you, Vedanto. No doubt that his parents are behind, the upbringing, such a simple and clear message that we get how parenting plays such a big role in our next generation. And, very proud of your parents, Suprita Mataji and Tirthankar Prabhu, for giving you so much support and guidance in your Krishna consciousness. So, thank you so much again, Vedanto. I look forward to teaching you for more years in Kaishura class. With that, I'll just hand over for the next part of the program. I think it's Guru Puja. So, would like to request everyone to stand up and put your seats away so we can get the floor ready for Guru Puja.
Wait, Mataji. Mataji is doing what kind of drama practice?
Hare Krishna, please return all the mics to the broadcast room, please. Please return all the mics to the broadcast room except the headset. Yeah, it's music for Maharaj. We have the mics we use for Maharaj, they have it. Is that the only one, or there's another one? Which is black one.
Thank you very much. Chadiya Vaishnava Sheva, Nishtar Payeche Keba. Everyone please say. Chadiya Vaishnava Sheva, Nishtara Payeche. Where's Vedanto? Vedanto, do you speak Bengali? Give him the microphone. I want to hear him say this. Where's the mic? Say it with a Bengali accent. You may have to have a language coach to... Hey. Go ahead, Vedanto. You're the star of the show today. Say that.
Chadiya Vaishnav Seva Nishtara Paeche Keva.
Haribo! Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Paeche Keva. Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Paeche Keva. Without serving the representative of Krishna, nobody can approach Krishna. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual Lord. By His causeless mercy, I have obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the Son of Krishna, Rupa Goswami and his older brother Sanatana Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Navada twins and Govardhan Hill, and a desire within my heart for the loving service of Sri Radhika and Madhava. O spiritual masters, O leader of divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss, and you are only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, we are descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself. We are teaching the divine love of God. O friend of the lowly, O Gurudev, you are the only ocean of mercy. I am a double fool and have committed hundreds of thousands of offenses. I have fallen into against myriads of sins. Therefore grace me with your mercy, so that my mind may be fixed on your lotus feet. Thanks to Krishna. O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science will not fully express their indebtedness to you, even if they are endowed with the prolonged lifetime of Brahma. For you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya, and internally as the Super Soul, to deliver the embodied of your being by directing and help upon to you. For those who see our spiritual master, and the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and attain the mercy of Krishna. Our only wishes to our higher consciousness purified, the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens our darkened eyes and fills our hearts with transcendental knowledge. He is our Lord without the birth, and ecstatic preeminence, by his image destroyed, the Veda scriptures enabled. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us, give us the shade of your lotus feet, and fame spread all over the world. Shri Guru Charana Padma,
Yahweh.
Hari Bol. Sabri Rajagajaja Stuvras Shishima Esi Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Sri Rajagajaja Stuvras Shishima Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Jagaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Nam Ki Jai Shri Mahapur Navadiptam Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Sam Beta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glorious assembled devotees. All glorious assembled devotees. All glorious assembled devotees. Your Premanande Haribo. Now we have a couple of quick announcements. First one is from our Bhakti community.
Hare Krishna. So, as you know, Bhakti Communities is a place where we discuss scriptures and help newcomers make progress in Bhakti Yoga. So, if you go and distribute books, please do take these bookmarks, which has, of course, Hare Krishna Mahamantra and its explanation. So, you can use that as part of your conversation. It also has all the Bhakti Community program information at the back, and you can invite them to come and join Bhakti Community. So please do so. Many people have come and they have benefited. And as you know, like Prabhupada being Bhaktivedanta, being also knowledgeable in Jagat Guru, when he came to US on a Jagaduta, he was thinking, I don't have any qualification, I don't know how I'm going to go and talk to all these hippies and ask them to take up the path of Krishna consciousness. That was a daunting task, but given how surrendered he was to his Guru, Krishna had all his mercy flow. So the next two people, whenever I'm going to invite, whenever I see them, I see a reflection of that, their mood of surrender, thinking, I don't have any qualification, but I'm just trying to please Vaishnavas and Guru and Gauranga and take up that path. So first I'd like to invite Kamalakshi and Krishna Saka Prabhu, so come and share how they have been going out giving books and sharing Bhakti community with newcomers and what their experience has been. Please welcome them.
Hare Krishna. I would like to share the story about Lauren. I met her at Oregon State. I was standing at the table and she saw me and I say hi and she said hi and she was going. And I don't know what she think and she came back and she said that what do you have? And I saw Trimurti, the Bhagavad Gita and High Taste and Science of Self-Realization. And she know about little bit about Bhagavad Gita. She has a different version about Bhagavad Gita, and she was very interesting about Bhagavad Gita, and she took Bhagavad Gita and gave $20 donation also. And I asked about Bhakti community. I said that we have a Zoom session where we invite advanced yogis who are practicing spirituality from more than 5 decades. So if you like to join, then I can send you the link. So she was very interested about Zoom session and she gave me contact. And when I introduced in Bhakti community, and now she's joining every day, every Monday and Thursday, Zoom Bhakti On and Bhakti Circle. And she's very liking and she always gives very nice reflection after the Zoom session. So yeah, and we are going like her. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Yeah, as she was saying, you can look at us. We don't have any qualification. I remember Lorraine when she talked to her and she came to Bhakti community and she was saying, I just saw the genuineness and that's what it attracted me and I joined. And now when she doesn't message, when Kamlakshi doesn't message, Lorraine messages, when is the session? So much they like it. And I also would like to share a story of a person I met this Monday. She was a student. Her name is Brooke Anderson. And I just met her. I was at Sacramento American River College this Monday, and I just met her before the session, just 1 hour before the session. And I was not sure, she was not that much interested, but still I told her, she was asking questions, and then I told her if she would like to join because she was asking so many different kind of questions. And then when she joined, she really liked it, and she was saying that she really enjoyed the meeting. That was a good opportunity. Thank you for letting me know about it. And she liked 2 points. She said service as an investment, also through benevolence, and that the material world is an external energy of the divine. And she said, how do I attend more of this or know about a schedule? So how even if we don't see if they are interested, but still people want to join, and when they join, it really opens their perspective. There's you can see somehow Krishna just put us here. We have no qualifications, but anything is there is the manifestation. Anything good is there is the manifestation of teachings of you, Guru Maharaj and Guru Ma. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you again, Kamalakshi Mataji and Krishna Saka Prabhu. They are an inspiration for us. How genuine and their genuinity, love and sincerity, care is what touches everyone. And like this week we had more than, I think, 15 to 20 people join, newcomers this one, and a bulk of them because of Kamalakshi Prabhu, Mataji and Krishna Saka Prabhu. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and yeah, please keep inviting newcomers when you get an opportunity. Thank you.
Now we have Malini Devi Dasa presenting on behalf of the Team ISV Book Distribution. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think you've already heard from Krishna Saka Prabhu and Kamalakshi Mataji. And this is coming from the traveling Sankirtan party. And last week also, we had Madhav Govinda Prabhu and Palika Lakshmi Mataji. They also joined them. They went to Sacramento for a week. They stayed there, and every day they used to go for book distribution. And if you see the weekend warriors these days, there is no weekend warriors anymore. You see messages every single day. We have Kautakarna Prabhu and Halayudha Prabhu that they went yesterday to Stanford and other universities. So this is, when I was listening to what Kamalakshi Mataji was saying, it's not about what you know. You don't have to be learned. You don't have to know the language. You don't have to be expert in all the books that you're distributing. As Prabhupada was mentioned that if you're sincere, then Krishna within your heart will inspire you what to say. That will actually sell the books, not that. But at the same time, we should also know what we are distributing. But just that sincere desire is good enough for us to distribute. And we have plenty of opportunities. And today will be our last day for our marathon for distributing Chaitanya Charitamrita sets. It's actually rather sad because there's no bar to distributing Chaitanya Charitamrita, but we just focus only CC sets on the tables. And everybody keeps saying that, oh, we'll come and take in a month and all. But we say, tomorrow is the last day. Or today is the last day where you can come. After that, we will hide all the Chaitanya Charitamritas. So this is your chance to get all your sets now. But we do carry both the sets anyway after that also. So last week we had a very nice weekend, a lot of sets distributed in different locations. And there is a team which goes to Dublin, Pleasanton. Last month, just before the marathon for Chaitanya Charitamrita started, they said that they've exhausted Dublin, Pleasanton area. There are no spots to distribute. And they had a meeting internally and said that what should we do? When they all came together, ideas started flowing in, and they discovered Rasamrita Sesha Prabhu's apartment complex, where Bhagavatams was distributed but not Chaitanya Charitamrita. And they thought, I don't know who will take, but still they just went ahead and they tried. And I think in just that community, they distributed about 20 Chaitanya Charitamrita sets. I don't know if anybody from that team is here. Harikatha Mataji and Sachinandan Gauranga Prabhu, Rasamrita Sesha Prabhu, and Tadya Seva Prabhu, they all go there. So just give it a try. There is no exhaustion for places because everywhere Bhagavatam is distributed, Chaitanya Charitamrita can be done again. So please do. And today you can also participate in Fremont, in Cupertino, Dublin, Pleasanton, and Western Sankirtan team must be going to many spots. I don't know about traveling Sankirtan today, but any spots that you're going to, Prabhu?
We have 4 different spots. Hare Krishna. There are, as you know, like most of the people in this weekend celebrate the Holi festival, Festival of Colors. So we have multiple, events in Bay Area. There are in San Jose. There is one in Fremont. So these 2 spots we are covering. There is also multicultural event in Mountain View downtown. So we are also going there to attend that. And our own Adinath Krishna Prabhu is going Hispanic Sankirtan. Please join us.
Also in preparation for tomorrow, tomorrow we'll also have an opportunity to sponsor Chaitanya Charitamrita sets because it's the day of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day, Gaur Purnima. So if you are thinking about it, please be prepared for tomorrow and you will have an opportunity. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I would like to sponsor a set of Chaitanya Charitamritas in advance of Gaur Purnima.
One. Okay, one set by His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu. He's starting off early, like he already started off for Bhadra Purnima as well. So if you want to get in early, do they have an opportunity to do now, Prabhu?
No, it's closed. No Chaitanya Charitamrita sets. Don't sponsor. I want to be the only one. Does reverse psychology work? Or we could have a couple more, just a couple more. Let's see.
Okay, Haldara Rupa Prabhu would like to sponsor 5 sets of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, Pankaj Prabhu would like to sponsor 5 sets of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Just so that you know, it is one set of Chaitanya Charitamrita is just $99 only.
Get out of here.
So if you want to sponsor 5, 10, 50, 100. Oh. Prem Nitai Prabhu, 5 sets of Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Prem Nitai!
Rohini Dulal Prabhu, 3 sets of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Madhav Govinda Prabhu, 2 sets of Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Haribo!
1 set for Kennedy? 1, yeah.
Haribo!
Haribo! Sundarananda Prabhu, 5 sets of Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you're wondering what will we do with these sponsorships, we will send them to students within United States. We'll send them to India as well, villages in India. We send Bhagavatams. We also send Chaitanya Charitamrita sets. All parts of India, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Orissa, Kerala,
South America.
Oh yes, and also to different countries like South America. We sent to Japan. We sent to
Africa.
Philippines someday. Antarctica.
Antarctica. We didn't get Chaitanya Charitamrita there.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Antarctica. Feel free to sponsor to any country you like. If you. Radha Prabhu would like to sponsor 5 sets of Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is just a preview, anyway.
Just a little enough to wet our beaks. Tomorrow's the real day.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu.
Haribol.
I also wanted to share that I was sitting in the parking lot of the new Indian store that opened up in San Jose. It's called Garuda Kitchen. And apparently, Yogi Plate gives that prasadam, but don't tell others because we don't want people to think this is without onion garlic because we want to distribute prasadam. Anyway, so I was just sitting out there and I was waiting for Radha Prabhu to come back, and I saw this gentleman go in 5-10 minutes, come back, and he didn't buy anything, but he had a Bhagavad Gita in the hand. So whoever put the book there, thank you so much. Let's continue to put more books in there. Coming to today and tomorrow, today is a little bit of rain, so we want to request devotees to take the prasadam. And you can actually use the $1 Million Wall and here outside the French door, you can actually take prasadam. And if you're willing to go, that is also okay. But if you're staying back and doing some service, we do want your help. Since you're staying back, if you're not in rush, we need some tables to be set up here for the vases and the garlands and the decorations. So we need some help throughout the day. So whatever you can pitch in, that would be wonderful. Tomorrow we begin morning session at 4:30 a.m. Please come a little bit early. We don't want to annoy our neighbors. Let's park at the proper place. And tomorrow afternoon program begins at 3 p.m. Earlier we had announced 2:30, so now we're beginning at 3 p.m. So those who are staying back doing some service, please stay back and do the service. And those who are still going back somewhere, please go out on book distribution on Gaur Purnima. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Sorry, one more came in after. Today is Sudevi Sakhi Mataji's wedding anniversary, so she would like to sponsor one set of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And she's requesting prayers from all the devotees for their wedding anniversary.
Jai, Haribol. Which wedding anniversary is it? How many note?
This is 16th year.
16th.
Yeah.
It was a child marriage. May you have many decades together in Krishna consciousness, if the Lord so desires, and we pray that He does, so that you can work together in the Grahastha ashram, realize the power of tolerance, and patience, and working together in Krishna's service. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part? Please say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Today's prasadam was cooked by Yashoda Kripa Prabhu, Ramapriya Prabhu, Purushottam Gauranga Prabhu, Vrinda Sevika Mataji, Hitesh Prabhu, Vishal Vinod Prabhu, and Satya Prabhu.
Haribol.
We are also looking for 4 cleaners, so if you could raise your hands if you're willing to help in the kitchen after, please contact Siddha Katha Prabhu after honoring prasadam. 4 cleaners. 1,
2,
2, 3, 4.
3,
Okay,
4.
thank you. Hare Krishna.
All glories to the cleaners.
Hare Krishna. Also today's prasadam is being sponsored by Balimardana Prabhu.
Haribol. Shari Dadija Jarendriya Kaheka Bepele Gishaya Shagare Tarma Jivayati Loba Moisudurmati Take Jeta Kakita Sanshare Krishna Bodo Doyamoy Tori Bade Jihvajay Swaprasadana Dilobhai Shayanamrita Pau Radha Krishna Gunagau That's it. Go Premanande. Nitai Gauda Hari Bo. Hari Bo. Hari Bo. Nitai Gauda Hari Bo. Please come take Prashadam. Hari Bo. Sun's out. Prashadam served outside, picnic area. Out the door, take a sharp right. Hare Krishna. Thanks everyone.